Hello guys, so welcome back. So we are going to be doing the 10 core principles of graphic design. 10 core principles of graphic design. So graphic design plays a critical role in brand building. Although branding and design are inseparable experience, it's important to understand the fundamentals of graphic design before embarking on any new assignment. Very important. Very important to embark on the understand the fundamentals before embarking on anything. So don't forget about designing anything. That's why one of the things we're going to be doing last in this class is a practical aspect. That's why I want to start now to let show us and let us understand the basics. Very important. So below are the 10 basic design principles that will help you create stunning graphics. Number one is balance. Balance lends stability and structure to and overall design. To understand it better, think that there is weight behind each of your design elements. Shapes, text boxes, and images are the elements that form your design. So it's important to be familiar with the visual weight, the weight. So balance is all about the weight of your design. Each of those elements possesses. Now, this doesn't mean that the elements always need to be distributed evenly or that they must be of an equal size. No, balance is either symmetrical, asymmetrical. Symmetrical balance is when the weight of elements is evenly divided on either side of the design, whereas asymmetrical balance uses scale, contrast, and color to achieve the flow in design. So let me go over here to show us what this is all about. So if you look at this design, I can tell you that there is a balance in this design. There is a balance in this design. Don't forget what we started saying, that balance is all about weight, the weight of your design. So each and everything you are putting here, the weight must tell. The weight must tell. So you have to understand the weight. For example, now if I should remove this here, um if I should remove this picture here, trying to go back. Why is it delaying me? Okay. Okay, this picture, this image. So if I should remove this image here, and here is just empty, here is just empty, you see that this design is not balanced. You'll be asking yourself what something supposed to be here. There is something that needs to be here. The design is just focused on this aspect, then there's nothing here. So this is not a balanced design. Okay, so if I should leave the image and then remove everything here, you will say something is not wrong with the design. Something ought to be here. So the design has to be balanced. If I should move everything here and leave this one here, it means the design is falling apart. Is landing this way, which means this place is light while this place is heavy. But if as I put something here and I put something here, it means there's a balance in it. So I hope this explains this thing better. But if you have any other question, don't forget to ask. So we have the second one, proximity. Proximity helps in creating a relationship between similar or related elements. These elements need not to be grouped. Instead, they should be visually connected by way of font, color, size, etc. So proximity is very important. We all understand what proximity is all about. It's about closeness to something. So it says the closeness of what? The elements of graphic design, the font, the colors, the text, and the size. So that's what proximity is all about. So if you look at the design, you see there's a lot of proximity here. So the color, for example, this is orange color. This orange color and this orange color, they are close to each other. Okay, so this white color and this white color are close to each other. So the colors are kind of, if you look at the color, if you look at the colors, they are kind of close to each other. Even the fonts I use here, that I use one font here, I use the same font here. I use this font and this font are the same. So the closeness relates there. With the closeness, you can actually understand what I'm doing. If you come here as well, this shape I use here and this shape, they're the same thing. There is closeness to it. Okay, so it's very important. It is very important that whenever you are making a design, make these things, let them align together. So if you look at the design entirely, you can notice that I use just three colors in this design. I use blue, orange, and white color. And I didn't just say, let me just use blue here, then this middle part I should use orange. And I just um spice the color up. I spice the color up by using the brand color. So this is the brand color. The brand color is white, blue, and orange. So I use the brand color to design this thing. So this is very important. Let's take note of these things. Okay. So let's continue. The third one is alignment. Alignment is very important. So alignment plays a pivotal role in creating a seamless visual connection with the design element. Don't forget with the design element, it gives an ordered appearance in images, to images, shapes, and blocks of text by eliminating elements placed in a disheveled manner. So, for example, look at what we are talking about here, alignment. This is what we call a left alignment. Left alignment. So, this thing, if I use my line and draw my grid line, you'll see that everything here is well aligned. Okay, see, I use my if I'm designing, so use this to align my distance. So everything here is well aligned. So this is called left alignment. This is called left alignment. Okay, so then if you look at this join 500 plus students today and 1 month intensive training, this is called center alignment. We have three major types of alignment. We have the left alignment, center alignment, and the right alignment. So this is a center alignment, this is a left alignment, this is a center alignment, and the image you are seeing here is a right alignment. I aligned the image rightly. Okay, so these are the basics alignment we have. So let's move. The next one is repetition. Repetition is actually important. Repetition comes in forms of design element as well. Sometimes some of these things are repeated. I repeated some of the colors here. You can see the colors here everywhere. I repeated the colors. I repeated the fonts. I repeated the shape of the shapes. So this one and this one. I repeated some of the shapes, the lines, and some of the icons I used. Look at them. I did a repetition here. So most times you don't entirely use a different thing to design. You can use the same thing to repeat it and make it lovely. Okay, and then the whole thing will be fine in your design. So the next one is contrast. Contrast is very important. Contrast helps happens when there is a difference between the two opposing design elements. The most common types of contrast are dark versus light, contemporary versus old fashioned, large versus small, etc. Etc. Contrast guides a viewer's attention to the key elements, ensuring each side is legible. So what is contrast actually? Contrast is simply it comes in different as we explain, it comes in different angles. So for example, let me use a shape. Let me use a shape, a blue shape. Okay, let me pick another color. So this is a color. Okay, and this is also a color. Right now they are the same colors, right? So let me make it let me give it let me change something here. You see the difference of what we're talking about contrast. So I can decide to make it different. Okay, so I can add this one. I can add a stroke to it. I using this stroke here, making it look different from this one. Okay, so I can also decide not to add any stroke and just um reduce the opacity. Are you seeing the difference now? You seeing the difference between this and this now? Are you seeing the difference? So this is what contrast is about, and there are a lot of other things about contrast which we are going to explain further as we move ahead. So the next one is color. Color is very important. I won't spend much time here because we are going to be doing color theory. So color is, we all know what color is. We have different kinds of color. We have the primary color, the secondary color, the tertiary color, and then we have in the color wheels we have 6 major colors in the color wheels. Then we now have the smaller colors which made them to be 12. But when you get into the color theory aspect of it, we are going to explain that further. Okay, so let's continue. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is typography. Typography, words have meaning. type has spirit. According to Paula Shaw, words have meaning, type has spirit. So typography is all about what you are seeing, the typo. This text now you are seeing, the text you are seeing, we have different typographies. So no, we have one typography. What we have is different fonts. So what you are seeing here is a typo, a typography. So typography is important in design. So all this you are seeing here, all this all these write-ups you are seeing, they are all typography. You can't design anything without using typography. It's also important in a design. So let's pay attention. So the next one is going to be negative space. Negative space, very important. What is negative space? Negative space is the space you leave, you allow when you are making designs. So for example now, imagine if I should keep this thing now. Imagine if I should leave this design here now without doing anything. I just keep this design like this now. Or let me just use the right color. Let me use white color. Okay, so it will align together. So I just do this white color now and now leave it here. So what do you think? This is a negative space. This thing is not working for anything. There is no use of this thing here. So putting such in here is not good. But imagine you can also say the same thing like this now. If I should leave this shape here now without putting anything there, you see that there is no importance of it. It is just like it is just there. But by putting this master class there, it's actually highlighting it highlighted the master class, so we can see it better. So there are uses of negative space, but most times don't use it too much, so you don't make the design look boring. Okay, so it's important like this. Secure your slot now. See the negative space. If I should move this secure your plot now, secure your slot now, this thing is going to be empty. So the negative space is very important. Okay, so the last one in this format is we have the rules of design. So this one is very important. The rules of design simply tells you that always in every industry there are rules. There are the do's and they also have the don'ts. So the rules of design tells you that, especially if you are designing as a newbie, you ought not to design with more than 3 fonts. You should use less than 3 fonts to design as a newbie, because until you understand the principles of using, because font is a psychology, it speaks. The same thing applies to color. If you're not a master of color usage, just use 3 fonts, at least 2 fonts to design anything you want to design until you become a master. So until you become a master, you'll be using this thing like this. But when you become a master, you can use more than 5 fonts, 5 fonts and 5 colors to make your design popping, to make your design look awesome and sweet. So but don't start like that. Start from small, start from scratch. Okay, so guys, see you guys. We are done with our first class. So I'm going to be seeing you guys in our next video class. That will be the next day. We'll continue from on today's class. So next class we are going to start treating typography. We'll start to explain and go deep into typography, explain what typography means, the psychology behind typography, and the rest of that. Okay guys, so see you guys in the next class.